Evening guys, so the last workout of week 6 is the legs workout, and here it is. A1 is single leg RDLs again. Now the way we're going to perform these is we're going to go into a single leg RDL, so balancing on one leg. Try and do it without holding on, but if you do need to hold on to something for balance, just like a finger on something. Just to steady yourself so that you're not putting too much weight and too much control. So hand on hand on a table, you're going to take too much work out of the working leg. So literally just a finger on something so that you're not toppling over. Make sure the quality of your hinge stays really tidy as well whilst you're holding, and it doesn't just drift into some sort of sloppy forward fold, forward bow. It still needs to be nice and angular, good angles in the hip. You're going to hold for 10 seconds. You're then going to perform 4 reps. So up to the top, back in, up to the top 4 times. After the 4th rep, you go back into the 10-second hold. Then you do 4 reps, 10-second hold, 4 reps. So you will end up with 3 10-second holds and 12 reps in total. And then you do it on the other side. Now, I wouldn't do the hold with additional load. The weight of your body at that angle puts sufficient effort on the hamstring and the hip of the working leg, but you could add weight to the reps after the hold if you like. Maybe do the first set without, but then if that feels quite easy, I'd stick with a 10-second hold. I'd just make the single leg reps harder by either adding a kettlebell or a dumbbell, or attaching a band in somehow to something underneath and using that to add additional load to the reps. So we're going to go left and right leg. That's 1 set. Have a little breather, and then we're going to go 4 rounds in total of that. Moving on to section B, you're going to do back extensions face down on the floor. We're going to lift up, lifting legs and upper body up into the air. Don't overstrain this position, so just literally just lifting off the floor so you can feel a little bit of tension going on in your glutes and your lower back. I held for 30 seconds in the demo. You could hold for less. I wouldn't go longer, so let's say 10 to 30 second hold. We're then going to relax back to the floor and then just nice steady controlled 10 reps. You could do 10, 15, 20, so somewhere between 10 and 20 reps. Depending on the length of the hold, you might want to think about varying the amount of reps that you do. So maybe if you do a shorter hold, you might do more reps in between, because then we're going to box that off with another hold after the reps. So in the demo, I do 30-second hold, 10 nice controlled reps, and then a 30-second hold to finish off that set. The second part of section B is a hamstring curl, so an isometric hamstring curl. Now I show you two ways of performing that on the demo. So you can either do it seated on something, and it's the machine where you sit on something and you curl your heels back to your butt. We're kind of replicating that movement. So you can either sit on a chair and drive your feet will be lifted up off the floor, flex your feet, and then drive your heels back into the chair or the sofa or whatever you're sat on, stool, and create some nice tension in the back of the legs. That's one way, and my preferred way is to do it the second style in the demo, where we're on the floor and we get a nice angle in the hips and the knees, and then we put the back of the heels onto something and we lift up. So we're using the same type of movement in terms of driving back into the back of the heel, but we're using our body weight as additional load rather than just solely what we can create by curling the feet into the seat. So you could actually overload that by lifting up in that position like I do in the demo and adding more weight to around your hips, so that your hamstrings are having to cope with holding more weight up off the floor. So play with both versions. Like I say, my preferred version would probably be the one where I'm lay on my back and my feet are up on a surface and lifting myself up off the floor. So that you're going to aim for 30 seconds, a 30-second constant tension hold. And then we're going to go 4 rounds of section B. Moving on to section C, we have hip thrusts, where we're going to do a 10-second hold at the top of the position. We're then going to move into 4 reps, 10-second hold, 4 reps, 10-second hold, 4 reps. Now, I would stick to a 2-legged version of that, providing that a 2-legged version after the holds and the 12 reps feels difficult. You have options. What I would prefer you to do is stick with the 2-legged version and add weight. So if the body weight version after the first set feels fine, add extra weight to the hips. If you don't have additional weight to add to your hips, then we might start looking at a single leg version where we do perhaps maybe a hold with one leg. It's going to be tough to do a 10-second hold, so maybe we'll reduce the length of the hold to 5 seconds and move into 4 reps, 5 seconds, 4 reps, 5 seconds, 4 reps, 5 seconds. Or we still do the reps, the holds 2-leg, and then we perform single leg hip thrusts, 4 reps maybe each side, or we alternate or something like that. You might have to just play around with options on that. Yeah, going mad. We're then going to do a reverse hyper extension movement where we need maybe a couch, back of a couch, or a dining table or something to work off. We're going to do a 30-second hold with the legs out. We're then going to go into the diamond frog shaped position with our feet, which you'll see in the demo, do 10 reps, and then finish off with another 30-second hold. The length of the holds can vary, like what we did with the RDLs. We can change the length of the holds to 5 seconds, 8 seconds, whatever. And we can increase the amount of reps in the middle of the 2 holds if we need to. But I did 30 hold, 10 reps, 30 hold. And then the third part of section C is the side lying hip raises, where we're set up on our side, in like as if we were going to do a side plank with this arm, and then we're lifting up to the side. Try to keep an angle in the hips. So as you lift up off the floor, you want to push your hips forward and become more of a kind of a straight line from shoulders to knee. Try and keep an angle in your hips so that you're at an angle. It's to replicate the movement of the machine where you're sat pushing out. It's just a much better way of doing that, especially when we don't have access to those machines. So yeah, try and keep an angle in your hip and don't end up being in a straight line from shoulder to knee. 15 reps each side, section C, 3 rounds. That's your lot. Here are the demos.